Adam Schefter just dropped a line that stopped a lot of conversation in its tracks. The 49ers reportedly have no plans to trade Mac Jones and intend to keep him in the quarterback room alongside Brock Purdy. If you felt that ripple of relief, confusion, or straight-up second-guessing when you heard that, you're not alone. This is the kind of roster news that instantly changes how every other offseason move looks. Right up front, if you want steady, day-to-day breakdowns of developments like this, please hit subscribe and help us push Niners News toward that 2,000 subscriber milestone. It really matters for getting more coverage to you fast, and a like goes a long way too. Now, let's walk through why Schefter's report matters and why this isn't just another headline to scroll past. First, the 49ers aren't a franchise that makes quarterback decisions lightly. The way this season played out, Brock's missed time, Mac stepping in and keeping the team afloat, the playoff win that followed, rewired the narrative about roster security. Fans remember seasons vaporized because backups couldn't hold the fort, so when a trusted reporter says San Francisco plans to keep Mac, that signals the front office is intentionally valuing depth and insurance at the most important position in football. Second, there's an emotional layer here. A lot of fans fell for Mac this year because he didn't just manage games, he elevated teammates, showed pocket comfort in hostile moments, and steadied a banged-up offense. That makes the idea of trading him feel to many like tossing away a safety net. Schefter's report does two things at once. It quiets immediate trade panic, and it forces the conversation into strategy. Are the 49ers prioritizing immediate Super Bowl windows by keeping a proven, ready quarterback, or are they going to try to convert that asset into draft capital? Third, this report also matters for how other moves will play out. If the team is signaling it wants to protect Brock but also values Mac's trade market, every rumor about the offensive line, pass rush, or wide receiver additions now has to be viewed through the lens of quarterback security. Are they building around a two-quarterback room that can survive injuries, or are they hoping to flip value for picks to reload elsewhere? Quick audience check. When you heard Schefter, what did you think? Relieved the Niners aren't trading Mac, or do you still want them to pounce if the right offer shows up? Type keep or trade in the comments so I can see where the community stands. In the next segment, I'm going to unpack exactly how Mac transformed his value this season. The tape, the traits Kyle Shanahan liked, and why that might make him more than just a backup. What really shifted everything with Mac Jones this season wasn't just the box score production, it was how he functioned inside Kyle Shanahan's offense when things were far from ideal. This is where the conversation stops being emotional and starts becoming very real football strategy. When Brock went down, the expectation league-wide was survival mode. Instead, what the 49ers got was rhythm, timing, and command. Mac didn't come in trying to play hero ball. He processed quickly, hit the top of his drop on time, and trusted the structure of the offense. That matters more in this system than raw arm talent. Shanahan quarterbacks live on anticipation, not improvisation, and Mac showed he could operate that way without the offense shrinking. What stands out on tape is how comfortable he was attacking the middle of the field. That's the heartbeat of this scheme. He consistently got the ball out on schedule to tight ends and receivers crossing behind linebackers, and he did it without panicking when the pocket wasn't perfect. That calm presence is something coaches obsess over because it keeps the entire operation stable. Offensive linemen block better when they trust the quarterback won't drift. Receivers run routes with more conviction when they know the ball is coming on time. That ripple effect is real, and it showed up in how the offense never felt frantic with him under center. Another key factor is decision-making under pressure. Mac took hits, stood tall, and didn't put the ball in harm's way. That's not flashy, but it's playoff football. The front office and coaching staff saw firsthand that if Brock misses time again, the season doesn't collapse. That alone dramatically raises Mac's value. Inside the building, regardless of what the trade market says, teams don't usually get that kind of proof without chaos, and the 49ers got it without sacrificing their season. There's also the reality of how other teams view him now. This isn't New England Mac anymore. This is a quarterback who rebooted his image in a system that highlights processing and accuracy, the same traits several quarterback-needy teams prioritize. That creates a tension point for San Francisco. On one hand, you have a quarterback who fits your offense and protects your Super Bowl window. On the other, you have an asset whose value might never be higher. That internal debate is exactly why Schefter's report matters. Keeping Mac isn't about sentiment, it's about control. Let me ask you this as a fan watching the tape. Did Mac look like just a game manager to you, or did he look like someone who actually unlocked parts of the offense when things got messy? Drop manager or more in the comments so I can gauge how you see it. And if you appreciate these film-driven breakdowns that go beyond headlines, take a second to like the video and subscribe. Getting to 2,000 subscribers helps this channel keep delivering deeper analysis instead of surface-level takes. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Keeping Mac doesn't just affect the quarterback room, it quietly reshapes how the 49ers approach the rest of the offseason, from draft priorities to free agency spending. In the next chapter, we're going to connect those dots and talk about what this decision signals about how aggressive San Francisco plans to be elsewhere on the roster. If the 49ers truly plan to keep Mac Jones, it tells you something important about how they're viewing the rest of the roster. They believe the window is wide open right now. Teams that think they're a year or two away usually flip quarterbacks for picks and start reshaping the depth chart. Teams that believe they can win it all prioritize stability. Especially at quarterback, keeping Mac means the front office is essentially saying they don't want a single injury derailing everything they've built. That mindset directly affects how aggressive they can be in other areas, because they're not scrambling to protect the most fragile position on the field. Look at how this impacts the draft. If you trust your quarterback room, you don't need to force a developmental passer early. That frees you up to attack premium needs like offensive line, depth, pass rush rotation, or secondary help. It allows the draft board to come to you instead of reaching out of fear. The same logic applies to free agency. When you're comfortable at quarterback, you can spend resources reinforcing the infrastructure around them rather than hedging your bets. That's how contenders operate, and the 49ers clearly want to stay in that category. There's also a psychological edge to this decision. Opponents prepare differently when they know a team won't completely change its identity if the starter goes down. Defensive coordinators can't just hope for chaos. They have to plan for continuity. That's an underrated advantage, especially late in the season when injuries stack up and margins get razor thin. San Francisco having two quarterbacks who can run the offense at a high level changes how teams approach them week to week. Of course, none of this eliminates the trade conversation entirely. The front office could still listen if a team comes, calling with a serious offer, but the leverage shifts. They don't need to trade Mac, they can afford to wait. And when you don't need to do something, you're far more likely to get proper value if you ever do. That's smart roster management, not indecision. From a fan perspective, this is where opinions really split. Some want maximum assets, others want maximum security. Both sides have valid arguments, but the front office appears to be leaning toward protection over speculation. So let me put it to you directly. Would you rather see the 49ers hold on to Mac all season as insurance, or flip him for picks and trust the depth chart behind Brock? Type insurance or assets in the comments, and let's see where the fan base lands. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. We're pushing hard toward 2,000 subscribers, and your support keeps this channel growing. All of this leads to the biggest question of all. How does Brock Purdy fit into this long-term picture now that the quarterback room feels stronger than ever? In the final chapter, we're going to zoom out and talk about what this means for Brock, the locker room, and the identity of this team moving forward. When you zoom out, the most important part of this entire situation isn't Mac Jones at all. It's what his presence does for Brock Purdy and the team as a whole. Brock is still the unquestioned starter. That hasn't changed, and nothing about keeping Mac undermines that reality. If anything, it strengthens it. Brock no longer has to carry the psychological weight of knowing that one awkward hit could send the season into a tailspin. That freedom matters. Quarterbacks play faster and more confidently when they're not pressing to be perfect on every snap. Inside the locker room, this dynamic can actually be healthy. Competition doesn't always mean tension. Sometimes it means accountability. Brock knows he has to stay sharp, and Mac knows he's trusted enough to be kept instead of flipped. That mutual respect creates a room where preparation stays high and egos stay in check. For a team with championship expectations, that balance is critical. You don't want uncertainty. You want quiet confidence, and that's exactly what this quarterback room projects right now. There's also a leadership angle that fans don't always see. Having two quarterbacks who understand the offense at a high level allows for more collaboration during game weeks. Film sessions become more productive. Adjustments happen faster. Younger players benefit from consistent messaging. That might sound subtle, but over the course of a long season, those details add up. This is how teams sustain success instead of burning hot and fading. From the front office perspective, this is about identity. The 49ers are telling the league they're not chasing headlines or quick wins, they're building redundancy into their most important position so that everything else they do actually has a chance to matter. All the roster. Upgrades in the world mean nothing if quarterback instability creeps in at the wrong time. Keeping Mac is a bet on continuity, preparedness, and control. So as you think about this report, the question isn't whether Mac should start or be traded tomorrow. It's whether you trust this organization to protect its Super Bowl window the smart way instead of the flashy way. Do you feel more confident about the season knowing Mac is still in the building, or would you rather roll the dice? Let me know by commenting confident or concerned below. And if you've stuck with me through this whole breakdown, please like the video and subscribe to Niners News. We're pushing toward 2,000 subscribers, and every single one of you plays a role in that growth. Before we close, tell me what you want covered next. More quarterback talk, draft targets, or free agency rumors? Drop your pick in the comments so I can build the next video around what you actually care about.